That loves Flutter, and today we're going to be overviewing the project structure for this application. It's going to be a TikTok clone, and right now we only have the front end done. However, it's made in a way so that it's easy to integrate the back end as well. Right now, there's a ton of little things we got to work on. For example, these are GIFs. We want them to be videos in the future, and right now we're using pretty much the same one on every little page that we have. And same with the video, we got to populate these views with actual data. However, we got the UI looking nice. We got the bottom navigation bar, changes the colors and everything like that is very highly optimized to work with as few tree rebuilds as possible. And we just got started working with with the profile image that should show up, right? So you got stuff like that. Anyway, so let's get started. Let me show you pretty much how this works, how this project is structured. And I just want to make this video and find out whether people are actually interested in a video like this so that, I can spend my precious time and energy in making this beautiful and very well documented for people. If people don't really care, then I guess I'm going to have to find another project which will be more valuable to more people. So let's get started. We get the main method, and the first step that we have over here is a provider step where we're setting up all the providers. If you don't know about providers, there's a ton of videos on the internet about that, and I will create one myself to show you how to work with providers in depth. Anyway, then we have the material app, right, in which we have the home page, which is going to be the layout manager. I'm going to explain about this in the future. In fact, I'm going to create a note here. We want to keep this code very maintained. We want to maintain this code pretty well and keep it well documented so that it's very easy to work in the future for ourselves. And if anybody wants to pick this up, then they definitely will be able to do so easily. So I'm going to make little brackets here like that and layout manager. And I'm going to explain to you as I write this what the layout manager is. It's a widget. So layout manager is a widget that manages the navigation of the app, contains a bottom navigation bar, and contains logic to switch from page to page. I don't really use navigator that often, any of that stuff. Pretty much I only have, you guys are going to see how I have it structured. So let's go over there. But before, we have a theme, right? And the theme is inside app-theme.main, which I have under lib. I have a core folder, which has, some common widgets that get utilized. And I have a theme.dart, which contains the main theme. And there's going to be circumstances where the theme is going to changing the default values of widgets underneath it. This is what I utilize for example, this. I utilize the white background static method here, so within the theme. And also there's style. I don't have anything there. I have constants, I have colors. If I had like custom colors that I wanted to retain and utilize throughout the application, of which I have none right now. It's pretty much basic, white and gray and black and stuff like that for now, so no big deal. No really a need to use that so far. However, this is nice. Like how I created the project to begin with. I started with core, I started with features, I started creating these folders, and a good idea would be to have a template starter project like this so you can get started right away with your code. You know what I mean? No need to do a lot of stuff. And in the features, I have all the folders for pretty much all the things which are going to be required. So I got layout manager, presentation, and layout manager. But I want to show you something that I didn't know. Nobody taught me, and nobody ever teaches this. However, a coworker of mine showed me this, and it's been so nice to utilize this. If you press the command key and I think control in Windows, you can just hover over to the guy. If you're using Android Studio, to the method, click on it, you're taken right to it. I didn't know this for a long time, and having learned this right, after working with a guy, this has been so useful and honestly has saved me a load of time. You know what I mean? Usually businesses, they don't want you to throw things away. They want you to be very exact and precise with little things because they understand, especially successful businesses, they understand that little optimizations add up and are actually very, very important when it comes to optimizing your work and becoming the best, right? So I learned that from working at restaurants and stuff like that in my time. And I definitely encourage everybody to try and optimize their output with little things such as the ones I just showed you. And I'm gonna be showing little tricks like that I learned from my coworker. Anyway, let's get talking a little bit about this layout manager and how it works. So we got a stack here. This stack will allow you to put values one on top of each other. That is how I achieved the fact that this video is all the way in the background and this bottom navigation bar is kind of transparent on top of it. And the way that how that works is I have this bottom navigation bar over here aligned at the bottom center, so right down here, and it's right here inside the stack that contains logic which switches from each of the tabs. Right, I have a provider actually that this is a selecting for. Right, it's select, and we can talk about selector another time, but this widget is part of the provider package, and it's going to listen in my home tab, change notifier, which we can talk about that later. If you know what this is about, this is going to be very nice for you. Easy to digest. If you don't know, however, I recommend, Andrea Bizzotto has great videos on selector and stuff like that provider, so you can check his stuff out. Or look into my channel or Jose Loves Flutter on Facebook and Twitter and all the different places if you want more info on this. Anyway, so I have this value called bottom tab. Bottom tab dot home is going to be the first one. And this is an enum which can be home, search, input, box, profile, and search is not search. I'm going to FN shift F6. We're going to change this to discover because this is the real name in TikTok. So actually, let's go back to the layout manager and let me explain to you. So what this does, the selector is going to take the provider and pass on this bottom tab value that's stored there as I showed before. This one right here, bottom tab.enum with all the tabs. And based on it is going to pass this value over here. And then we just have a simple we have a simple if here, which will just return the home tab. And, if that doesn't go through, we have a stack that will check for in fact, this is probably, we probably don't need this at all. Unless we do. I forget why I did that, but I don't think we need it. I'm going to reload the app just to make sure that I actually do need it. I don't think I do. I think this, yeah, definitely I don't need it. Okay. That was a mistake, I guess. Anyway, so we have this switch statement. I must have forgotten to delete it when I implemented the switch statement. So we have a switch statement, which is logic inside of this parameter. We should be returning a widget. However, if you do something like this, parenthesis, then another one in there, and then these two brackets and another one in there. Now you can have a function which will return whatever you want. You can right here, any form of logic. You can create variables. Var hey equals lol. Whatever you want. And you can eventually return, I don't know, a container if you wished to do so. You know what I mean? So that's a cool little tidbit if you want to have a conditional logic inside of the parameters for a widget. So we have switch, and we're going to get the bottom tab, and based on the bottom tab we get, we're going to go to a different page. And most of the stuff comes from, and of course I wrote here still under construction because input takes you to the home tab. The inbox, like not everything is put properly, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done on this. But anyway, let's move on to the home tab. And over here we have the home content builder. And what that is a builder, which is a page view that will take you through as many items as there are in a list. This list right now is hard-coded with the same GIF. In the future, it'll be a video and all that stuff, and we're going to have to figure out like caching and loading data in advance and stuff like that, and getting rid of the data to make sure we have a smooth experience. However, this is the first video, and I just wanted to show the project structure, just to show kind of how this is going to be achievable in the future. Anyway, so this actually, if we see how this behaves, this thing is part of the scrolling feature. all of this bar is part of it, all of this bottom part's part of it. So you scroll away and you have it. However, the following and for you, these two widgets, are actually on top of this stuff. So that's what we have. The home content builder at the bottom. It's at the first thing written in the stack, because the first thing written in the stack gets put at the, is the drawn first, I guess. So it's put at the bottom. And then you have the bottom, which switches video streams. So this one, it will switch video streams. And it follows the same mechanism as the bottom navigation bar. Selector, which, rebuilds the widgets in a particular way. I'll do a tutorial, particular in each of the things I've shown you, so you know how to do custom animations of the sort and so on. However, as I said before, this is just the overview. Anyway, then we have the bottom, which switches videos. Oh, yeah, I just talked about that. It's aligned to the top right. Following for you options. This should be top center. I mean, it works. The things inside here must be aligned properly so that it doesn't matter, but top center seems better. Anyway, then we have our bottom navigation bar, and you may be wondering, over here in the layout manager, we already have a bottom navigation bar. Oh, that's why. That's why I have it like that. Okay, I remember now. Okay, so we have a bottom navigation bar here at the root, and then we're passing this home tab. However, when we need this feature where we switch to the left and this hides, right? So we don't want to get to this step here where we're passing this on. If it's a home tab. So that's why if, you know what I mean? So this whole thing, you can see it's being swiped away, the bottom navigation tab bar. And that is because we have to have it inside this this container over here, so that at the top we can switch the page. So at the very root of this particular tab, the home tab with the videos and everything, we have a page view, which contains all of the content that we have, and to the right of it we have the user page, right? Because it's a page view, 2 pages. So we need to make sure to have the capability of swiping away that bottom navigation bar. So because of that is why I did what I did, and I totally forgot. I guess I should have written a comment about that. I thought it was just a mistake, but it's cool. So if bottom tab equals bottom tab home, return. Well, we can do it like that, or we can just go here and okay, we're gonna have a boolean called isHome, which is gonna equal to bottom tab equals bottom tab home. Bool can't be assigned to the type widget, and this has to go over here, not inside the stack. Okay, so we have a boolean type is home, which will be true if the current bottom tab is home. And if that's the case, then we're not gonna return this bottom navigation bar. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go is home, and if it's home, we're gonna just return an empty container, container, I think, cont. Awesome. Empty container with a height of 0 and a width of 0, making it literally nothing. Otherwise, we're going to return that bottom navigation bar. And let's reload this and let's see if that works. Cool, a little bit of debugging. Awesome. So now we can swipe away. And if we are in the home tab, then this bottom navigation bar will no longer be at the outer layer in the layout manager. It'll be inside this home tab widget over here, which is going to be a stack with the bottom navigation bar at the bottom. Yeah, we can write more stuff in there. So we have the page view. Inside the page view, we have a stack. We have a layout builder, which you actually don't need. So I'm going to remove it. Tip for removing your widget. How many things are there? There's only one of these guys to remove that. So I can easily go like this, and that should work. No, there was more to that. There was more to what I thought was removing that. Yeah. There was this, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Sometimes it's tricky to remove widgets, especially builders. Anyway, we don't need that layout builder. We have a page view, and as a child, we have the stack, and we have the user page. So the stack is this whole system over here that we see, and the user page is pretty much this. So, and by the way, this shouldn't happen. It should be a little loading guide. We can work on that in the future. And at the bottom also, it shouldn't happen like that. And this definitely shouldn't happen. There's definitely scrolling physics that can help us out with that. However, for now, we're going to just continue on with the stack and so on. So we have the home content builder. We have the following for you options, as I showed you, and we have the bottom navigation bar. So let's go over to the home content builder and reveal a little bit about this. It's stateless, stateful widget with a page controller, which we're gonna need to utilize because when you click over here, it has to scroll to the right. And yeah, so we're gonna have to implement that. It isn't implemented yet, but I just added it for now. So we have this homepage provider, which we're not listening to. At the top of your widget tree, you must be extremely selective when utilizing the provider package. Otherwise, you will get a ton of rebuilds that, don't matter. This is why I utilize, I never listen to these fields over there, and I use selectors to make sure I only rebuild it when I need to. And in this case, I don't need to rebuild this based on anything. I'm just targeting the specific widgets at the bottom if possible. So listen false. Anyway, so we have the home page and provider where we're getting the mock contents. This is just a list of a content value, which will this will have all the data to populate, the name of the song and all these different things. So we're going to talk about that later. Let's keep going. So we have another stack here, and we have a positioned fill of the video content player. Right now, this video content player pretty much just has a few URLs that I was utilizing to test it. It's got a gesture detector. It'll play and pause the video, which will play and pause this icon as well in the future, of course. And we have an extended image.network, which is a package that allows you to cache the image in a nice factor so that when we navigate away from here back, this thing doesn't have to reload again in a pretty annoying way. And that way we can just avoid keeping the state of this tab for that particular purpose. We might have to do it in the future for a different purpose. But anyway, so we just have the pretty much simple page. We just have the little GIF there working. No big deal. Anyway, we got a home content action bar, which is a column with all these widgets. It has custom widget that I created called content profile image. You know what I mean? To create this content profile image, content icon action, I am following the content naming convention because this is a home content action bar. So there'll be a content profile image, a content icon action, which, you know what I mean? It has all these things. So instead of writing all of this each and every time, we just have something simplified so that we can, animate each, like we're going to have these guys are going to have to animate and do complex things. So we got to make sure to keep it concise here so it maintains its readability and so on. So then we got a rotating image profile, which is a stateful widget with its own animation controller and so on. And utilizing the animation builder, we're just kind of giving it rotations. Nothing crazy. Nothing to really marvel about. So right now we're in this section over here. We're going to go over to the content layer section now and go to the content info, which is this section at the bottom here. And I'm utilizing a little bit of math some arithmetic to get this square to be aligned, because we're using stack, things will naturally overlap each other. In order to not overlap them, you gotta give them things ratios as sizes, and utilize those ratios as sizes to give these elements a position, right? So that they don't overlap ever. And so that's why you see the width, which is media query of context size width. That's the size of the screen and so on. We're going to talk about that in the future as well. Bottom padding, top margin, all that stuff. Anyway, so we got the first, we got a container with a column, which will contain the username. So this is just a simple text widget. I mean, it'll have a little check mark if possible. That's why separate, like all of these guys are in the same thing because they're pretty small. As soon as they become a little bit bigger, they will have their own, maybe this thing will have its own folder, and each of these will have their own file, right? So when I was creating this, I pretty much didn't have anything written down. So if you're creating your own project to get started with, and you want to finish something quickly, this must have taken me a few days, maybe 2 to 3 days, maybe a little bit more, even though I kind of slacked with this. I think the reason why I was able to speed up my process of development significantly from before was due to the fact that I was really focusing on making the structure clean and easy to work with. And due to that, I was able to go faster. So that's my advice to you. I feel like if you're a younger developer just getting started, this is definitely definitely going to be interesting for you to hear. I feel like in my past, I wanted to create content fast, and I just went super fast about it and wanted to just solve things quickly without worrying about the architecture. However, working smart will make you go faster than working recklessly quickly. And that is my advice to you. So at the beginning, I would write, pretty much what I had is I created all the folders, all the files. I created even all these guys that I haven't even worked on. Camera I haven't even worked on yet. Discover, I just have this tab. I have a container. I don't have almost anything. I just wanted to divide everything up, divide it into like their own widgets. So I'd go like this, and header. Let's say this needed a header, and let's say I needed a body. I don't think I need this for this feature, but let's say, right? And let's say this thing needed to be a column, where at the top is a header and the body. So it'd be like header, body. And let's say I decided, oh shit, this needs a spinning image. I go like that. I go like that. And as soon as one of these guys started getting a little bit bigger, I would immediately create a new file for it so that it's easier to manage the complexity of the code as it gets more complex. Anyway, so no need to worry about any of this stuff. In fact, I'm just going to go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's about it. Obviously, there's more complexity about this, how I utilize provider, how I got this marquee to work. Pretty easy, actually. The rotation, this animation, and yeah, there's like a lot to teach about this. It's not there's still a lot of work that's gonna have to be done on this feature, and obviously there's like bouncing animations that gotta go on the bottom navigation bar and so on, and this little bar. Like, there's a lot. So if you're interested in this video, let me know. And stay in tune, because I'm going to be providing a ton of videos with the highest possible quality I can in the next few months. Okay, so make sure to stay in touch with me, like all my social media. And okay, that should be it. Thank you so much.